Welcome to this explainer. If you've been feeling lately like your internal battery just doesn't charge to 100% anymore, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're exploring how to restore vitality and overcome fatigue. I want you to just take a deep breath with me. Together, we're going to explore exactly why our energy levels seem to shift so much as we enter our 40s and beyond. But more importantly, we're going to break down how we can restore that vitality naturally. It's a truly fascinating journey into how our bodies work, so let's get comfortable, clear our minds, and get started.
If you're over 40 and constantly feeling tired, I want you to really let this sink in for a moment. You are not alone. So many adults begin noticing these subtle or, sometimes not so subtle changes in their energy levels as they get older. You might wake up feeling significantly less refreshed than you did back in your 20s or 30s. Simple, everyday tasks might suddenly feel incredibly draining. Maybe your motivation feels a little lower, or your body just doesn't bounce back from a long day the way it used to. And it can be incredibly frustrating, right? You start wondering, why am I always tired? Or why do I feel so mentally and physically exhausted before the day has even really begun? Please know that your experience is completely valid. It's incredibly common.
Which naturally leads us to wonder, is this just a normal part of aging? Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the science gets really interesting. You see, it's so easy to just shrug and blame the calendar. We tell ourselves that this is just what getting older feels like. But here is the crucial point. While low energy after 40 is common, it is absolutely not always something you should simply accept as inevitable. In many cases, it isn't just the sheer passage of time that's draining your battery. Often, the true drivers of this exhaustion are actually our daily habits and lifestyle factors that have compounded over the years. And honestly, that is incredibly empowering news, because it means we have the power to change it. Small, consistent improvements in our daily routines can literally make a massive difference. So, what's actually causing this? Often, the true drivers of this exhaustion are hidden energy drains. Think of them like tiny holes in a bucket, slowly sapping your vitality without you even realizing it. These are things we encounter every single day. We're talking about poor sleep quality, chronic stress, nutritional deficiencies, dehydration, and physical inactivity. Let's take sleep, for example. Many adults over 40 just aren't getting enough quality rest. And notice I emphasize the word quality, because even if you spend a full 8 hours in bed, if your sleep is disrupted by stress, an irregular schedule, or a late night screen time, you simply aren't getting that deep, restorative rest. Without that proper recovery, your body and your mind are basically forced to operate in a constant state of fatigue. These are the silent drains, pulling the energy right out from under you. But that drain doesn't stop at just physical rest. It extends directly to the immense pressures placed on our nervous system. Modern life places an absolutely enormous, invisible weight on our shoulders. Just think about it for a second. The work responsibilities, the financial concerns, family demands, and let's not forget the constant, relentless pinging of notifications and endless information flowing from our phones. Our bodies, biologically speaking, were simply not designed to remain in a constant state of mental overload and hyperalertness. When your nervous system is always on, constantly scanning and processing threats or demands, it takes a massive amount of physical energy to sustain that state of high alert. Over time, this chronic stress leaves you deeply depleted, both mentally and physically. And this brings up a really crucial distinction: physical fatigue versus mental overload. We need to untangle these two concepts. You see, many people today aren't just physically tired. It's not like they've been doing intense manual labor out in the fields all day. Instead, they're emotionally drained and mentally overstimulated. Think about the sheer volume of hours we spend consuming information: emails, social media, the 24-hour news cycle. The brain rarely gets a chance to just power down and truly rest. And here is a fascinating biological fact. Your brain only makes up about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes roughly 20% of your body's energy. So when your brain is constantly churning in overdrive, it literally starves your muscles of energy. This ongoing mental exhaustion creates a profound sense of whole body fatigue. Sometimes your body genuinely needs physical rest, yes, but very often your mind simply needs quiet. And when that quiet never comes, we reach a critical breaking point: burnout. Clinically speaking, this is prolonged mental, emotional, and physical overload. I want to repeat that definition again because it's so important to validate. Burnout is prolonged mental, emotional, and physical overload. Many hardworking adults spend years, sometimes even decades, pushing themselves without adequate recovery, taking care of everyone else, working constantly, ignoring the stress. Eventually, the body just throws the emergency brake. It starts screaming that something needs urgent attention. Burnout is not simply laziness. Let me say that again with absolute clarity. It is absolutely not laziness. It is a clinical, biological result of pushing a system way past its limits without giving it the chance to repair.
Now, another major piece of this puzzle is what we call the diet roller coaster. Our bodies absolutely rely on steady, nutrient-dense fuel to function at their best. But modern diets, they're often packed with sugar and highly processed foods, which basically strap us in for sudden artificial energy spikes followed by exhausting crashes. You feel a quick burst of energy after a sugary snack or maybe an extra cup of coffee, and then suddenly you crash hard. You end up feeling way more depleted than before. And we have to gently factor in biology here too. After 40, our bodies naturally go through hormonal changes that influence our metabolism, our stamina, and how efficiently we process these foods. The combination of these natural bodily changes and a chaotic roller coaster diet is just a prime recipe for deep, unshakable fatigue. So how do we get off that roller coaster? Well, it comes down to providing essential fuel for steady energy. And this is built on 4 very accessible pillars: protein, healthy fats, fiber-rich foods, and hydration. These are the core building blocks that support stable, enduring energy throughout your entire day, rather than those chaotic spikes and crashes. And I really want to emphasize that last one, hydration. It is astonishing how many adults are walking around chronically dehydrated. Here's a surprising fact for you. Even a tiny drop of just 1 to 2% in your body's water levels can cause significant drops in cognitive function. It leads to fatigue, headaches, poor concentration, and just a general feeling of heavy sluggishness. Sometimes you aren't actually exhausted from overwork. Your body is simply underhydrated and struggling to deliver oxygen to your cells. Which brings us to a really fascinating paradox. Are you too tired to move? This surprises so many people. When you feel completely exhausted, exercise feels like the absolute last thing in the world you want to do. Rest feels like the only viable option. But here is the biological truth. Regular, gentle movement actually creates energy. It supports blood circulation, it regulates your mood, and it helps balance the exact hormones that govern your sleep cycle. Now, we aren't talking about suddenly training for a marathon here. Just walking, stretching, light, consistent movement. These simple actions help your mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of your cells, function far more efficiently over time. And that ultimately breaks the cycle of lethargy. Okay, so how do we systematically put all of this together? We use a simple recovery blueprint. These are simple, yet incredibly powerful cascading habits. Better sleep hygiene, consistent hydration, balanced meals, regular movement, and crucially, less screen time. Now, it's really important to state clearly that persistent, unexplainable exhaustion should always be evaluated by a healthcare professional, just to rule out any underlying medical conditions. But even with a clean bill of health, these daily choices are your absolute best defense against fatigue. Creating moments of rest, managing your stress, and implementing this blueprint works harmoniously to rebuild your energy reserves from the ground up over time. It's really all about working with your body instead of against it. I want you to remember this. Rest is not weakness. Recovery is not laziness. So many of us have been conditioned to believe that we must constantly push harder, that slowing down somehow means we're failing or falling behind. But true strength, true vitality, fundamentally requires restoration. The human body performs at its absolute best when effort and recovery are perfectly balanced. Healthy aging isn't just about living longer. It's about maintaining your energy, your clarity, and your quality of life. Embracing recovery is simply one of the most proactive, powerful things you can do for your long-term health and well-being. So, I want to leave you with a very important, maybe even a little provocative question. Will you listen to the signals your body is sending? Because your body is constantly communicating with you. That fatigue, that brain fog, that heavy feeling, it's a signal. It's asking for care, for nourishment, and for rest. Please don't assume that exhaustion is just your new normal after 40. Your body and your mind deserve better than that. If this explainer resonated with you today and you found this structured information helpful, please take a second to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share this explainer with someone in your life who might really benefit from hearing this gentle, reassuring message. We love bringing these insights to you. Remember, listen to your body, give it the recovery it absolutely deserves, and until next time, keep learning and take care.